Southern Illinois joined the Missouri Valley Conference in 1975. Now in 2003, they have already broken the school record for conference wins with 15, and they still have one more to go tonight at Illinois State. On Saturday, it was one of the biggest wins in school history over Creighton. It guaranteed the #1 seed this weekend in the conference tournament, and it gave us all a little taste of Arch Madness. The scene is Redbird Arena on the campus of Illinois State University in Normal, Illinois. And tonight it is game one of a doubleheader of college basketball. From the Missouri Valley Conference, presented by State Farm, the Salukis come to town to take on the Illinois State Redbirds. With Scott Highmark, my name is Dan McLaughlin, and welcome to game one of our doubleheader of the Missouri Valley Conference here on Fox Sports Net. We know the #1 seed will be Southern Illinois. Arch Madness starts at the Savas Center on Friday night. So tonight, you say, why is this game important? It is important. They want that outright #1 feeling.
Well, last year they split the regular season championship with Creighton. With a win here tonight, it's their championship outright. And there's the other thing of an NCAA tournament bid on the line. They certainly control their own destiny. For Illinois State, it's senior night, so it won't be easy.
Let's take a look at the standings in the Missouri Valley Conference. Creighton now with 3 losses. Southern Illinois only with 2, and that's what you're talking about there, Scott. A win here tonight, and they win the conference outright.
Well, they really feel with a win here tonight and 2 in the tournament that they certainly have a good argument to get in the NCAA tournament with an at-large bid.
Everybody talks about Kyle Korver being the player of the year from Creighton, but they forget about a guy named Kent Williams.
Well, he's absolutely one of the best pure shooters in the country. Shoots 48% from 3. Played one of his best games of his career against Creighton on Saturday night, and one of the best games the Valley has ever seen. He had 24 points, 5 assists. He's putting together a really strong finish to a storybook career. And his counterpart for Illinois State, Greg Alexander, a 6'4" sophomore guard who has started since day one his freshman year. Real effective, coming off screens, shooting 43% from three-point range in his own right. Had 18 points at Southern Illinois in their first meeting. So here on senior day, they will be looking to a sophomore for leadership.
So both teams have something to prove and play for here tonight. Southern Illinois, a chance at the conference championship, and to be all alone. For Illinois State, it's senior night, and they have won 6 of their last 10. MVC basketball is coming up.
The Missouri Valley Conference Game of the Week is brought to you by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. By Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with the crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers. By Edward Jones, more than 130 years of experience helping individuals build financial security. By ConAgra Foods, we set America's table at home and away. And by your Chrysler Jeep dealers, where every vehicle is just your type. Because at Chrysler, drive equals love.
Southern Illinois will take on Illinois State from Redbird Arena in Normal, Illinois. Welcome back, Dan McLaughlin and Scott Highmark. This is game one of our doubleheader of MVC basketball on Fox Sports Net. Bruce Weber, what a job he has done. He is in his 5th season at Southern Illinois. 20-plus wins this year, a Sweet 16 appearance a year ago. He spent 18 years as an assistant under Gene Cady at Purdue. Flat out, he is getting the job done at Southern Illinois. We turn to our starting lineups. It's brought to you by Bud Light. On senior night, you would expect all seniors to be starting, and that is the case for the Redbirds on the right side of your screen, with the exception of Vince Green. Then you look for the Salukis, and the man to watch out for is Kent Williams. He comes in as the leading scorer for the 4th consecutive year for the Salukis of Southern Illinois. Tom Richardson is in his 4th season at Illinois State. His overall mark is 55 and 62. Richardson has been involved with the Redbird program for 10 years here in Normal, Illinois, so no stranger to this program. Let's take a look at our keys to the game. It's presented by Chrysler.
Well, Dan, Southern Illinois can't afford a letdown coming off their big victory against Creighton Saturday night. It's going to be difficult to muster up that same intensity level. Big game Jermaine. When Jermaine Dearman plays big for Southern, they're a different team, as evidenced by his 18 points and 7 rebounds against Creighton. Pace will be important. The Redbirds don't want to get into a track meet with Southern Illinois. A game in the high 50s or low 60s would suit them just fine. And Trey Ball, Illinois State leads the nation in three-point field goal shooting at 43%. They need to find good looks for Trey Guidry and Greg Alexander.
This is the 120th meeting between these two schools. with the Salukis leading the series 61-58. In the previous meeting back on January 4th, Southern Illinois was victorious 74-65. And that's a look at our NBC Player of the Week, Jermaine Dearman for the Salukis of Southern Illinois. And you talked about it. You were at the game and did the game for the Valley Television Network over the weekend. It was a great showcase of two of the best teams in this conference. And I think, in my mind, two should, no matter what, head to the field of 64.
Well, I think if you look at their resume, both teams have really warranted an NCAA at-large bid regardless of what happens down the stretch. But I know both Southern Illinois and Creighton feel like they need to at least win out tonight and get to the finals of the to really make their case strong.
And they both won those bracket buster games as well, so that will be taken into consideration. We're just about set to go. Illinois State home whites, the maroon with black trim for the Salukis of Southern Illinois. Here's green for Illinois State. The Redbirds get the first possession of the ball game, man-to-man, shown by
Southern Illinois is going to come out and really try to pressure the guards of Illinois State. Make it difficult to get the ball down low to Bojang.
That's him right there with the basketball. Misses the shot. It away. The Salukis want to run, and they've got the numbers. And they also have some fantastic athletes on this team. Willis head of the key, and there is Mr. Williams. Off a pick, the lefty. No good. Strandmark the rebound. We'll go the other way. Here's what you're talking about a little bit. Illinois State very patient at bringing up the basketball. Just I say that, Green chucks up a three.
Well, that's a little quick. I think Tom Richardson's going to want his team to work a little bit more clock. Again, they won a game in the 50s, low 60s. Would love to be in the 80s.
Great to have you with us on Fox Sports Net, Missouri Valley Conference basketball. Kent Williams, the alley-oop, and they see it, knocked out of bounds. And it's going to stay with Southern Illinois.
That was a good read by Green against Hairston. Tried to run the lob for him. Interesting matchup to watch. Kent Williams and Casey Reed. Thompson thought put a little more size on Kent Williams as they get the quick bucket by Dearman.
Dearman the easy two, 14 points. That's what he averages, and the Salukis have the early lead. That was two.
Big game, Jermaine. He came up huge on Saturday night, got going, hit a few early jumpers from 15 feet. When he gets going early, he's as tough as anybody to match up with in the
swings it left side to Gillum. Strandmark, another senior is there, has it tied up with Kent Williams, and it's a turnover back to the Salukis. So a good start here for Southern Illinois.
That's what they're going to want to do, play real physical. We saw that on Saturday night, the way they really got out and guarded Kyle Corver, and that's a stamp that Bruce Weber's really worked on with the Saluki basketball team. Paying dividends here late in the season.
Four seniors starting on senior night for the Redbirds. Gillen, Reed, Bojang, and Strandmark. So you're going to see maybe a little inconsistency offensively for this starting lineup for the Redbirds.
Well, and you never know who's going to step up on any given night. They haven't established a go-to guy, and that's very difficult to win.
It goes back to the Redbirds of Illinois State. There's Tom Richardson, who has struggled there this season, 7-19 and 5-12 in conference play.
Almost 15, and they've won 6 of their last 10, so it feels really good about how they've progressed late in the season. But when you get behind the 8 ball, your dauber gets down a little bit. But to their credit, they've really kept themselves engaged in this basketball season.
A steal by Darren Brooks, the sophomore. Blocked the foul by Willis, and he did that over the weekend against.
Oh, he was unbelievable. He brought so much energy to the Saluki basketball team. Had 8 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 or 3 of those tap dunks, just like you saw.
A 6'7" junior. Calumet City, Illinois. Here's Reed. Leaning in, gets it. Illinois State is on the board. It's a 4-2 game. Tom Richardson will tell you, you better play harder. He's going to lock you out of the locker room. Literally. He did that.
He absolutely did. He got their attention early in the season. Didn't feel like they were getting the effort that he locked them out of their locker room as Brooks knocks down the jumper. And they were totally locked out of their locker room, had to come dressed, ready to go, had to shower in their dorm and apartment rooms, and certainly got their attention, started to play much better basketball after that.
Darren Brooks is on the board, the 6'3" sophomore from St. Louis for Southern Illinois. He is part of that MVC Most Improved team just voted on this past week.
He was the man primarily responsible for guarding Kyle Corver on Saturday night. Although Bruce Weber ran about 4 Salukis at Corver, Brooks really got most of the credit and guarded Corver, really got up underneath him and made it very difficult on him.
Brian Turner along with Josh Warren have checked in for Southern Illinois. Now there's the man that we highlighted in our open, Greg Alexander, one of the top young players in this conference. He did not start in the first meeting that lost against Southern Illinois, but then poured in 18, one of the top games that he's had this year, and he's one of their top scorers.
Well, he's an excellent shooter, shooting 43% from the field. He's one of the guys that got to find shots, work the ball, set some screens, and get him good looks.
The foul inside, that's going to go against Andy Strandmark, seniors for for Illinois State. Strandmark has been off the bench and starting a little bit, doing both double duty this year, and he started the past 5 games, and that includes tonight.
Well, even though he's not a big scorer, he provides that big physical presence that you need in this league.
Here's Dearman inside the Warren. Baby hook. Good defense there by Strandmark. May have altered the shot a bit. And here comes Illinois State, trailing 6-2 here at home. A push on number 21, that's Warren. Josh Warren, and we were talking about him during the shoot-around today, Scotty, that the coaching staff of Southern Illinois really likes him. A guy that is not in the best of shape, they say, but guts it out. They make him run all the time, and he still just comes on back for practice and comes back for more.
He runs quite a bit extra after practice, during practice, in the off-season, but he's got good hands. He's a skilled player. Had some big games, had 15 points at Northern Iowa, 12.6 rebounds at Creighton. So he enables Bruce Weber to go 9 deep and get off the bench.
And some toughness as well. Southern Illinois here to the Sweet 16, some huge upset wins. Here's Kent Williams, altered his play. He has been quiet so far in the first 4 minutes.
Well, you won't see him make too many mistakes like that. Pretty much lets the game come to him.
Guidry can shoot it up. That's Trey Guidry, and he can hit.
Explosive. He's another guy you don't want to let get started early.
And Guidry has hit 13 of his last 23 three-point attempts, and he takes the charge underneath.
Oh, and that's the very reason his minutes have been somewhat limited, only averaging 25. Probably the best pure scorer on this Redbird basketball team, stepping up, taking the big charge.
Sylvester Willis and Southern Illinois trying to win that outright conference championship. One more win. SIU will become just the 5th Valley team to record 16 regular season wins. 50 to play in game 1 of our doubleheader. Don't miss a minute of State Farm Missouri Valley Conference men's basketball tournament. We call it 7th through the 10th. That'll be this Friday. That's when it starts at the Savas Center in St. Louis. Be for some great Valley action. So get your tickets today for the 2003 State Conference men's basketball tournament, Arch Madness, and you will fly if you attend. It is fantastic. And the timeout taken there by Illinois State. Vince Green ran into some trouble near that Southern Illinois bench and takes a smart timeout.
Well, the Valley Tournament will be interesting as always this year. You've got certainly Creighton, Southern Illinois, the class of the Valley, but teams 3 through 10, there's a ton of parity. Wichita State winning at SMS, clinched that number 3 seed. But 3 through 10 is really going to be interesting, and on a neutral floor, you know, anything can happen.
Looking for this season's hottest styles, then look no further than Aeropostale. Aeropostale provides the hottest athletically inspired clothes for guys and girls. Aeropostyle.com, proud sponsor of the Missouri Valley Conference. Well, it looks like Illinois State Friday night is going to take on Drake. They are 0-2 against Drake this season. And how about this? It'll be the 3rd meeting between the two teams in just 7 games. They didn't see each other in the first 21 games of the season. Now they're going to see each other 3 times in the past 7.
You know that's going to be a war when it's one and done and you've got to win to survive. Oh, it's going to be an interesting, competitive game.
We'll go the other way. Strandmark whistled for the personal. His second personal. He'll have to have a seat here in this first half, and it's 6-5 Southern Illinois with an early 1-point lead. Can't emphasize it enough. Southern Illinois is the #1 seed, no matter what happens in this game. But if they win this game, they are the champions outright.
Well, last year, Creighton controlled their own. To do is win at home against Drake. Lost that game to give Southern a piece of that championship. So Southern's well aware of what could happen if they lose here tonight.
Over Williams looking for the pick and roll and had it. Ball is on the floor. It's tied up and a jump ball. And it's going to stay with Southern Illinois. 7 seconds left on the shot clock.
Well, one of the things I've been so impressed with Kent Williams is his ability to find his teammates, and that time Warren just can't handle it that time. But tonight Kent Williams was fantastic, had 5 assists, 24 points, and he's doing a really good job, Dan, of letting the game come to him, when he has opportunities, he takes them, but he's scoring 18 points a game on only about 12 shots.
Korn can shoot it. He's off the bench his first minutes and misses that three-point attempt from the head of the key. It's 6-5 early on. Here's Alexander matched up with Brooks. Guidry looking inside to Arnold. Arnold gets it back. Off the glass, Illinois State has their first lead of the night.
Well, he's been fantastic. Freshman, 6'8", 225 pounds, and it's nice to bring him off the bench when Straymark gets in foul trouble. Good-looking freshman.
Dearman inside. He was their leading scorer in the NCAA Tournament a year ago.
He was the Chevy player of the game in both their victories, and wasn't that excited. That's where he earned the moniker Big Game Jermaine, because he likes it when the bright lights are out.
Off a pick, here's Guidry. He can shoot three. He's at 50% in his last 6 games. He's already hit one here tonight.
Illinois State very deliberate on the offensive.
Arcing shot off the front of the rim. Arnold picks it up.
Giving him good minutes, had 19 points at Northern Iowa, so he's certainly capable of picking up.
Off the bench, averaging 8 points a game. Diving forward is Green, tied up with Hairston, got it back. In the corner, Korn, good look underneath the Brooks. That's a heads-up play.
Oh, it really is. Saw the floor well and thought he had a wide-open jumper at the last minute. Saw Brooks under the basket. Great delivery by Brad Korn.
Brooks has 4 to lead Southern Illinois along with Jermaine Dearman. Both with 4. Here's Bojang. Off the back iron, no good. And it's pulled away by Southern Illinois. Here's Kent Williams. He's been quiet so far. To Korn, to Williams. They'll set the offense, just over 13 minutes to play. Good defense there by Green. Tough shot, fading away, no good. Korn kept it alive. It's bouncing around. Bojang had a hand on it. Alexander will come away with it. And here come the Redbirds of Illinois State. Trailing by 1 in this game. Guidry, little ball fake at the elbow. Arnold's got to help him out and continue towards the basket. He saw the lane to pass it.
You know, Guidry really anticipated that well on that pick and roll, and like you said, Arnold gave him the pick and rolled and just didn't roll hard enough to the basket. Hairston got a piece of it, and Illinois State will retain the basketball, but Arnold, again, a good-looking freshman, and that man, Trey Guidry, really makes a lot of things happen. He's got to find a way to keep himself on the floor for 30 minutes a game because he's too explosive on the offensive end.
Schoen, Willis, and Turner back in the game for the Salukis, and our first look at Chris Burris. Here's Alexander, partially blocked. Fans wanted a foul. They're not going to get it.
Kent Williams again with the hand really picked up his defensive intensity this past year. Had a couple key steals against Creighton the other night, in addition to all of his scoring and passing ability.
They are all over Williams. Here's Turner, his first attempt, rattles out. Trey Guidry the rebound, his first rebound of the night. Game 1 of our doubleheader of the Missouri Valley Conference, presented by State Farm. Glad to have you with us here on Fox Sports Net. Here's Green. Good look to Arnold. Couldn't finish. Pulled away by Willis, and here come the Salukis. Leading by 1, it's 10-9. 12 minutes to play, first half.
And Brian Turner's really given Bruce Weber a lot of good minutes. Had him on the floor at the end of that game the other night, and instead of Stetson Hairston, and the junior college transfers really giving him good minutes on both ends of the floor.
Korn, an open look for 3. His second miss of the night. Brian Turner, a JUCO transfer from Mineral Area Junior College. Here's Green looking for some help. Knocked out of bounds, and it's back to Southern Illinois. Senior night at Redbird. Game 1 of our doubleheader, 10-9. Southern Illinois on top. Saturday, Jermaine Dearman on the left, Kent Williams on the right, and they'll have a seat. 11.5 to play here in our first half.
On senior night, those two came up huge. See if Illinois State seniors can lead them to victory as Williams and Dearman did the other night.
We've seen neither team has really shot the ball all that well to start this ball game. Here's Warren inside and got it to fall.
He's really given him some good minutes. You see that nice touch down low, and you've got a 6'8", powerful young man more and bring off the bench, and does a nice job on the defensive end as well.
Red shirt a season ago out of Washington, Missouri. Here's Craig Guidry. Little hand check foul on Brian Turner, his first personal.
Well, that's a good matchup, though, for Southern Illinois. They like Turner's quickness on Green. Not many guys in the Missouri Valley Conference match up with Green's quickness, and Turner's going to have to come out of the game, and Stetson Hairston's going to have the unenviable task of chasing the water bug.
Almost stolen away by Blake Schoen, a 6'4" freshman from Oxford, Indiana. And he's all right.
He's a physical, tough kid getting out in the passing lanes, and that's one thing Bruce Weber talked about around. He said, we've got to take the game to them. We got to get out. We got to pressure them. We got to make sure that they know early on that this is our ball game to have. Can't let their crowd get into it. Game mentally for Southern Illinois, coming off that big emotional victory, have that same intensity. It's going to be just almost impossible, so they're going to have to create their own energy.
Three, and it's stolen away. Quick hand, show it again. Had the numbers, pulled it back. Heads he play for a freshman. Hands it off to Willis. Now to Stetson Hairston out of Fairview Heights, Illinois.
All the time Southern struggles offensively. They don't have a real true point guard. Kent Williams has been initiating the offense when he's in the ball game, but when you've got Brooks and Hairston, they're kind of both looking at each other and trying to figure out who's supposed to initiate that offense. That man, Kent Williams, really more of a traditional two guard, but does a nice getting them into their sets.
Third team foul against Illinois State. First personal against Marcus Arnold, the 6'8" freshman from Chicago. Brooks looking inside, and the lefty found it. That's Stetson Hairston, the 6'3".
He does a good job working without the basketball. Physical young man, 6'3", strong, and gets the steal there with his hands down.
And a whistle and a foul on Trey Guidry. That's his second turnover in 2 consecutive possessions. And Guidry's going to have a seat. Vince Green back into the ball game.
Well, Hairston had a tough evening against Creighton. 0 for 3, didn't score, but really come out with a lot of intensity. You see the nice delivery by his buddy Darren Brooks, and then on the crossover, gets his hands low, gets that steal and the foul, and really bringing a lot of good minutes to SIU here early.
Turnovers always a key stat in any ball game. Illinois State already with 8 here tonight. You are not going to win at home with 8 turnovers in the first 10 minutes of the ball game.
No, believe me, Tom Richardson's not going to accept that from his team, especially when you got a guy like Vince Green running the ball club who's started for 2 years straight now.
Here's Warren, little fadeaway, and got it off the inbound. Nice little touch by the big man. It's 16-9 and the biggest lead of the night at 7 for the Salukis.
Showed us the whole package, showed us a little jump hook from 8 and steps out, knocks down the 15-footer.
Little fadeaway as well.
Like that.
Here's Burris. Reed had it, then lost it to Schoen. His second stole. And a whistle and a foul, the second steal for Schoen, and he's fouled going hard to the goal. That's the 4th team foul against the Redbirds.
Well, he's given a lot of energy. That's the 3rd time he's got out of the passing lane, his 2nd steal, but just real physical, tough freshman from Oxford, Indiana, goes in, gets the foul, and that's a perfect type of guy to come in, give you a quick charge to your team, and play 10-15 minutes a game. He's going to be a real good player for the Salukis down the road.
Averaging 9 minutes off the bench for Bruce Weber. Highly recruited football player out of Indiana, decided to play basketball.
He's a big-time scorer, averaged 25 points a game, was a first-team All-State player in the state of Indiana, which is saying something, and he's got that football mentality.
Kept alive by Warren. Bojang pulls it away for Illinois State. It is 17-9. How about this? Kent Williams, no points.
Well, they have the luxury of resting him on the bench, and I know that's one of the things the Southern coaches were worried about was fatigue. Played a lot of minutes the other night, a lot of hard, emotional minutes, and they knew he'd be fatigued, so they're going to try to give him a little extra rest. But that's the thing about this Southern team is they can win even when Kent Williams is in the force.
Dearman the miss. Picks it up, and here come the Salukis. Defensively, Southern Illinois has really set a tone as Illinois State has struggled to get in any kind of offensive set.
And Illinois State's been a little sloppy with the basketball, and Southern certainly recognizing that. Like a shark in a feeding frenzy, they're going right after him. Got 4 steals here early, and Tom Richardson can't be happy with the start his Redbirds are having.
Ken Williams back in the game for Southern Illinois. He's got the basketball.
So he'll initiate the offense, and then he'll go down and mess around, try to come off some screens, get lost in the muck.
A little pump fake and up and under. Rattles in and out. That's a strong move, and that's what he can do. And when he gets hot, watch out.
Well, even when it doesn't go down, it's pretty. And it's just so fundamental. Sensed the defender coming, gave him a little ball fake, created that space.
Illinois State at this point, it seems like every possession about 15 feet away from the basket. Bojang from 15, no good. Knocked out of bounds, and it's back to Southern Illinois.
Well, you're right about that. Southern's really putting that pressure on them, so Illinois State's having to start their offense 30 feet from the basket. They're struggling just to get inside the arc with their ball handling.
Really have extended what's happening here offensively for Illinois State. It's 17-9, Southern Illinois, a lead of 8 points with 8:16 to play.
Illinois State's going to have to get Babacar Bojang involved. He's too athletic. He's a guy that they thought had the potential to be an all-Valley player. Averaged 13 a game last year and really struggled this season. For them to be a good basketball team and certainly have a chance tonight, he's going to have to contribute.
Preseason All-Valley. Deep three, no good. Pulled away by Arnold, the youngster from Chicago. Here's Green to Arnold, head of the key. Guarded by Dearman. Green for three and got it.
Well, that's a tough shot. I was just about to say that's a hard way to start your offense. Tell your point guard to go create a shot for himself, but he gets one to go there and cuts the lead to 5.
His first three, the second three for Illinois State, and they shoot the three very well. #1 in the country. That's how well they shoot behind the arc.
Well, and typically they take good shots. Shooting percentage is a function of the shots that they take, and Tom Richardson does a good job instructing them what a good shot is.
Dearman the miss, got it back from Brooks off the glass, no good. Arnold pulls it away.
Well, he's been good here early.
Very strong on the glass for Illinois State. Here's Green to Ford, got it blocked. Green gets it back, his second three. You bet! Illinois State is right back in it. Only a 2-point lead for Southern Illinois.
Well, the great equalizer, the three-point shot. Vince Green's knocked down 2 in a row, and it's interesting when you knock down some shots how the crowd gets involved and how you really pick up your defensive intensity.
Here's Dearman, double team, kicks it out to Warren, just inside the arc, no good. Pulled away by Strandmark. Then he lost it to Darren Brooks. Brooks from the free throw line, no good. Got it back, spins, no good. Williams pulls it away. Good look inside to Jermaine Dearman. Tough move inside, couldn't get it to fall. Brooks lost it, but still it found its way in.
Boy, how about Darren Brooks? That was 3 offensive rebounds just in that possession. That young man is tired, but he is getting it done. Can't give a team like Southern Illinois 3 and 4 chances.
19-15. Salukis with a 4-point lead. Ford around his man, kicks it out. Another three. No good this time. A whistle and a foul. That's going to go against Brooks. You mentioned he was tired. He asked to be taken out of the ball game by head coach Bruce Weber. He'll have a seat and a whistle and a foul on Brooks.
They couldn't get him a blow, and Marcus Arnold, we talked about his job on the defensive glass, doing a good job on the offense as well.
Vince Green, a 5'9" sophomore, averages 12 a game. He had 13 last time against Southern Illinois. He's starting to heat it up for Illinois State. Leading by 4. Let's take a look at the MVC men's basketball standings, brought to you by Edward Jones. More than 130 years of experience helping individuals build financial security. Edward Jones, you see Southern Illinois, a record of 15-2. And Scotty, if they win tonight, they win the conference regular season title outright. And they are the #1 seed heading into Arch Madness this weekend. Bruce Weber has done just a wonderful job at Southern Illinois. RPI has now climbed to 38 starting with this game here tonight, and they've won 20 games for the 2nd straight season. I think they have made a case, especially by being in the Sweet 16 a year ago, that, let's just say hypothetically, they don't win the postseason tournament and get that automatic bid. To me, this is still a team that gets the at-large bid.
Well, they also won 12 of their last 13 and 27 straight games at home. Now they do have 2 very quality wins. They beat Wisconsin, Milwaukee in the bracket buster game, and now they beat number 17 Creighton. So they got 2 very quality wins in addition to the 21 that they have already. So But Bruce Weber really believes that they need to win tonight and get to that championship. He said, if we're able to do that, I'll feel really good about our chances. But he said, guys, the only way to assure yourself is to win Monday night in St. Louis.
And let's face it, the NCAA Tournament, they want to see some marquee players here as well. And a guy like Kent Williams is to me, a very marketable commodity out of this conference, and very well could be the player of the year. Everybody mentions Cal Korver. We talked about that in the open, but Kent Williams certainly has made a case for himself.
Korver certainly grabbed the attention nationally, but from Kent Williams' performance the other night, as Alexander picks up the foul, Kent Williams certainly got the better of that matchup against Korver. Korver had only 10 points, really struggled all evening long. Looks like Tom Richardson's going to pick up a technical.
Team foul 7 on the Redbirds.
Didn't like that foul call on Alexander.
Foul against the Illinois State bench.
See Alexander trying to get out in the passing lane. Yeah, he got a little bit too much of his shoulder that time, although Kent Williams reacted like, I better go back and get the ball, and Alexander wasn't real happy about that. You see Richardson there in the background.
So Kent Williams, who has been held scoreless here tonight, will shoot the technical fouls, and this is something kind of a double-edged sword. Number one, you're only down by 2 against the team that may win the conference title outright here tonight, but you send a guy that once he gets hot, you can't shut him down, and now Williams is on the board.
He's absolutely money under pressure, and that's the last thing you want to do is get Kent Williams started. But, you know, Dan, you talked about the NCAA. I know they're not supposed to look at last year's success, but I think getting to the Sweet 16 really does help solidify and legitimize Southern Illinois University in their program. They had 28 wins last year. They beat Texas Tech and Bobby Knight. They beat Jim Herrick and Georgia in the first round and played UConn awfully tough in the Sweet 16. So that, in addition to all their RPI, the star players, and certainly Bruce Weber's success, bodes well for their chances.
This has turned out to be possibly a 4-point possession now for Southern Illinois. There's the numbers for Kent Williams the last 4 games. 4 consecutive free throws, and now 4 points for Williams.
The thing about Williams, the other night he scores 24 points on 12 shots. That's efficiency, because he does get to the line and he doesn't take poor shots.
Here's Dana Ford. Tough shot, and a whistle and a foul.
Speaking of tough shots, that's the last thing you want to do is foul a jump shooter who's taking a bad shot. Schoen gets a little too aggressive that time, but that's a shot you want to make. 4 knock down. 2 freshmen going one-on-one, and if he knocks that one down, you pat him on the rear end, run to the other end.
Dana Ford is only 1 for 9 from the charity stripe this year. Make it 2 for 10.
They feel, Tom Richardson and his staff, that Dana Ford may have as much upside as any of their freshmen, only averaging 2 points a game, but he's athletic, he's a slasher, very versatile, can play the 1, 2, and 3 spot. He needs to put on some weight in the offseason and work on that perimeter jump shooting, but they really like this freshman.
They picked up a young man that transferred from the University of Missouri, Najee Beckles, so
well, he's going to be a great player in this league. He'll be eligible in December of '03. A 6'7", physical young man, can play the 3, 4, and 5 spot. They also have a young man, Neil Plank, transfer from Wisconsin, who said he's been their absolute best player day in and day out at practice.
Here's Dearman looking for help, and he's got it. Under 5 minutes to play, and the shot clock is now down to 10 seconds. 23-18. It's down to 6 seconds. Here's Korn. Matched up with Strandmark. Tough shot from the elbow. Loose basketball. Kent Williams picked it up. Finds the open man. An open look. Hairston knocked it down. 3-pointer.
Second chance opportunities just absolutely kill you. And Tom Richardson looking down the bench saying, who can I get in there to rebound on the defensive end?
Stetson Hairston, the 6'3" sophomore, has started every game of his career. And he was the player of the week in the Valley in early December, and he can shoot the 3.
He really can, and you've seen him really working hard on the defensive end, getting rewarded on the offensive end.
How about Vince Green? He's got 8.
And he's going to have a big night because nobody else is stepping up to help him on the offensive end yet.
Under 4 minutes to play. 6-point lead for Southern Illinois. Darren Brooks, good look to Jermaine Dearman.
What great ball movement. Such an unselfish team. They average 15 assists a game, and they don't really care who scores. They just keep working the ball. Sometimes they pass up a good shot to get a great shot, as Brooks just did.
Here's Vince Green. He's been the offense so far to the senior. Strandmark couldn't get it to fall. Strong rebound by Ford underneath, and he's over the back of Kent Williams.
Boy, not a lot of contact. Didn't look like from our angle. Athletic rebound by Dana Ford. Kent Williams again doing a good job positioning himself. We'll see the shot go up, and Ford just goes right over his back, jumps right over him. A little bit of contact. Williams gives him a little shove after the whistle.
You and I had a chance to watch Kent Williams in one of the wonderful tournaments in high school basketball. Really not a tournament, but a day that showcases some of the top players in the country. In his senior year, he went out and poured in 45 at the shootout in St. Louis, and that was one of the best performances that we have seen.
It was absolutely unbelievable. It broke Teddy Dupay, the former Florida Gators record in that shootout. And a lot of people don't realize how tough this young man is. He's incredibly tough.
Leading his team in scoring for the 4th consecutive year, and he's 2nd in career scoring at Carbondale. He's something else. 10-point lead for Southern Illinois with 3:19 to play. Hey fans, whether it's St. Louis, Omaha, or Evansville, make Holiday Inn your stay for business or pleasure. Your stay will be more comfortable at the Holiday Inn, no matter what Valley City you're in. Call 1-800-HOLIDAY to make your reservation today. Dan McLaughlin, Scott Highmark. We get a chance to look at the great equalizer stat brought to you by Equal Sweetener.
6 offensive rebounds for Southern Illinois. They got 3 on that one possession by Darren Brooks, but believe me, that's something Tom Richardson has addressed.
Little backdoor by Gidry, and he has 5.
Well-designed play by Tom Richardson out of the timeout. Can't tell you how many times in the Missouri Valley, out of a timeout, teams execute plays and finish. Really a sign of a well-coached team.
Here's Darren Brooks. Falls down a bit. Gets back up, finds Dearman. Brooks for 3, head of the key, no good. Bojang pulls it away.
They need to get Bojang involved, yet to score here this evening. He's too valuable. He's your inside presence, so I'd like to see him get a little bit more involved on the offensive end.
Vince Green with the basketball. He has 8 for the Redbirds. Finds Alexander, back to Green. Into Bojang with 15 on the shot clock. Couldn't get it to fall. Dearman knocked it out of bounds, and a fresh 35 for the Redbirds of Illinois State, trailing by 8.
Well, if you're Tom Richardson, you like to get the ball to Bojang, but he's complaining about a foul down there, but you'd like to use his quickness rather than try to bully against Brad Korn and shoot that 15-footer. He's so quick and long. If he can really use that quickness, get an angle, he can be effective.
Bojang has really been a disappointment in his senior season. For the Illinois State Redbirds, averaged 13 a year ago and only averaging 8 this season. Alexander off a pick. Korn came out to help. Looked like a foul, only a 2-pointer. And a tough shot by Alexander. Lead is 6.
Well, he can do that coming off those screens. If he gets his feet set, it's going down.
Dearman. Under 2 minutes to play. To Korn, left side. Williams is guarded by Alexander. They have really been tight on Kent Williams. He has 6 in the ball game.
All of which have come from the free throw line.
Yep, perfect. 6 of 6. Shot clock is down to 5. Korn inside, knocked away by Bojang. Off of Darren Brooks. His foot was on the baseline, and it's back to Illinois State. Heads up play by Bojang.
That was a great defensive set that time. They ran the pick and roll. Bojang rotates over, gets the steal, but nice job. Good defensive pressure, doubling that double team. Bojang rotates over, and that's what he's capable of doing. At 6'8", long arms, he's quick.
Tell you what, Tom Richardson has really turned things around after just 1 win in the first 16 games for Illinois State. They got off to a terrible start, and this is a different team from the last time that we were here.
Well, and he's kept his team in the game mentally for the entire season. It's a long season. When you start 1-15, it's hard to keep the focus of your team, and he's certainly done that.
Green is third 3 of this first half. 3-point lead.
He's got it going. He's keeping him in this ball game.
Here's Darren Brooks looking for Dearman. Hairston an open 3, trying to answer, can't. Oh, almost the follow there by Sylvester Willis. Instead, here come the Redbirds. They've got the numbers. Alexander Almost threw it out of bounds, and it is out of bounds off of Jermaine Dearman.
Maybe one too many pass by Alexander. Had the wide open three off the break, and see the shot going up by Hairston. Can't knock down the wide open shot, and Willis comes out of nowhere, and those are the ones that were falling for him the other night.
You look at Willis, it makes you think of a young man a year ago, Roland Roberts, fantastic player for the Salukis.
Well, and if you look at their stats from last year to this year, they're very similar, other than the fact they're being out-rebounded, or they're actually about even. And last year they had about a 3 or 4 rebound edge, and that was primarily due to Roland Roberts.
Gidry off the back iron, pulled away by Jermaine Dearman. And that's going to be a foul on Marcus Arnold, with 42.4 seconds remaining and just a 3-point lead for Southern Illinois. And remember, if they win this game here tonight, they are the outright champs of the Missouri Valley Conference, and everybody's talked about Creighton. They have been top 20 for the better part of this season, and all of a sudden the Salukis win the conference championship.
You know what? They've just been going about their business. Creighton's been getting all of the hype nationally. In Southern Illinois, all they can do is go out, take care of business. They've certainly done that, and then they had their opportunity Saturday night to steal the show, and they had the opportunity to do that, but they're in a dogfight here this evening.
Dearman with 7 to lead Southern Illinois. We were talking about it at the shoot-around, and then later in the day, it just seems like these kids have fun playing for this program. And in particular, Bruce Weber. He's done a magnificent job in his 5th season as the head coach of the Salukis.
Well, it's hard to keep these young men liking their coaches this late in the season, but you can just see it on their faces. They have a lot of fun. Their practices are fun. They're competitive. There's always winners and losers and consequences for everything that they do. The kids thrive off of that, and you can just see it in their eyes. They're really liking the game of basketball here early in March.
Difference is about 6 seconds from the game clock and the shot clock. Shot clock now at 10. Here's Vince Green, who has 11. He is quick. To Alexander for 3. Yes!
What a big shot. Gives you momentum going into the half.
Here's Williams trying to answer deep 3. No good. On senior night, Illinois State trying to pull off the upset. We have played 20 minutes from Redbird Arena in Normal, Illinois, and Illinois State only trailing by 2. 4 3-pointers in that first half, 3 by Vince Green, 1 by that man. It's 32-30.
Drive equals love.
Game 1 of our doubleheader of the Missouri Valley Conference, presented by State Farm. A 2-point lead for the #1 seed coming up in Arch Madness in St. Louis this weekend. Southern Illinois leading by 2. Illinois State, we saw them go with a terrible start. 1 win in 16 games. This is a different team, and one thing they bring to the table, the ability to shoot the 3. They were 5 of 7 in that first half.
Well, and Vince Green did most of the damage. He had 11 in that first half, and once Illinois State took care of the basketball, they had 8 turnovers in the first 10 minutes of play. Once they took care of the basketball, got the ball to Green, they were able to fight back to within 2.
And something that really stood out is Kent Williams, not really involved in the offense, not many shots taken. He does have 6 points, all from the free throw line, but nothing from the floor.
Well, Illinois State's doing a good job really chasing them off those screens, being very physical with them. Did have the 6 free throws, but he's going to have to get more involved for Southern Illinois in the second half.
What is Bruce Weber telling his kids right now?
He's saying, guys, I told you it was going to be a dogfight. It's not going to be easy. It's senior night. Illinois State's fired up. They have a chance to be the spoiler here in the Missouri Valley Conference, so you better come out and play a better 20 minutes in order to clinch this conference championship.
Well, as we head to our next break, let's take a look at our Conference Player of the Week in the Missouri Valley Conference, and it is Jermaine Dearman. It is presented by State Farm. He is a senior from Indianapolis, Indiana. He shot 79% from the field and 55% from the free throw line. He averaged close to 18 and wins over Evansville and #17 Creighton, and he is our Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week, presented by State Farm. Very entertaining first 20 minutes here from Redbird Arena. It's 32-30, Southern Illinois on top. Highlights the 1993 Missouri Valley Conference Tournament and one of the biggest breakthrough memories in tourney history. Southern Illinois, which survived a first-round overtime scare from Bradley, met Illinois State in the finals of the tournament at the St. Louis Arena. Led by double-double threat Ashraf Amaya, the Salukis raced to a 32-20 halftime lead and never looked back in a 70-59 triumph. Amaya, the league's Defensive Player of the Year, had 11 points and 13 boards to earn tournament most outstanding player honors for today's Nestle Barina Millennium Moment. Welcome back to Redbird Arena. 32-30 Southern Illinois. A win tonight. They are the outright champs in the Missouri Valley Conference. After 20 minutes of play, they lead it by 2. Dan McLaughlin, Scott Highmark. Let's take a look at our stats brought to you by ConAgra Foods. And the big one to me that stands out, 5 of 7 from behind the arc for Illinois State. That's kept him in the ballgame.
Well, Vince Green's got 3 of those 5. He, by himself, has kept Illinois State in the ballgame. Southern Illinois only shooting 34% from the field. They've got to get better shots. Jermaine Dearman's got 8 of the 14 points in the paint for Southern, doing a nice job. Points off turnovers, real big. Southern with 15 points off of the 11 turnovers by Illinois State. Illinois State's got to do a better job taking care of the basketball. If they do that, we're going to have a ball game down the stretch.
First half stats brought to you by ConAgra Foods. Vince Green has been hot. 3 of 5 behind the arc, leading all scorers with 11. Second half is coming up.
Ford Square.
Illinois State closed the first 20 minutes of play with a 10-2 run. And they've closed that lead to 2 points. And hey, if you're Tom Richardson on senior night, you're saying this is all right. We're within 2 against the #1 seed in March Madness, and we call it Arch Madness, down at the Savvis Center this weekend as we take a look at the leading scorers for Southern Illinois. Dearman with 8. Brooks and Williams both with 6. Vince Green leading all scorers with 11. So here we go with the final 20 minutes in game 1 of our doubleheader. Dan McLaughlin, Scott Highmark, great to have you with us.
Dan, we talked about pace being important at the beginning of this game. We told you Illinois State wanted a game in the high 50s, low 60s. The score would indicate that the tempo is certainly in favor of the Redbirds.
The seniors back on the floor for Illinois State, and a whistle and a foul underneath on Willis.
I like that idea. Get the ball down low to Strandmark and Bojang.
They didn't do that at all in the first half.
They sure did not. Make Southern Illinois, particularly Jermaine Dearman, work on the defensive end. That's one way to get them out of the game offensively, is get the ball down to their 2 big guys. Bojang with the goose egg there in the first half. He's going to have to get more involved as well.
Strandmark is averaging 4 a game, and he shoots 60% from the free throw line. This is the first. Salukis up by 2.
Strandmark was excited about senior day, was coming out making sure that the microphone was a cordless microphone after the game on senior night, so he can go out in the crowd and do a little Phil Donahue action with his parents and friends, and really excited about senior night.
Phil Donahue, huh?
Shows my age, doesn't it?
Man. With all the talk shows out there now, and you picked Phil Donahue.
I'm sorry. Who does that anymore?
I don't even want to talk about it.
I don't have time to watch.
Here's Willis inside. Little baby hook, no good. Pulled away by Reed. Here's Vince Green with 11 in that first half. We'll get a hand up with him. He was 3 of 5 from 3-point territory. Hands it off to Alexander. Little jump stop to Strandmark. He's fouled, and he'll go to the line and shoot 2.
And all that created by good ball reversal, got the ball to Alexander, and Alexander's been doing it all year, makes good decisions. That's one thing about Greg Alexander that Tom Richardson loves. And again, they work that motion offense, run a lot of screens. Alexander puts it on the floor, finds Strandmark, weak side, he goes up strong. That's how you have to go up against an athletic Saluki ball club.
It's the first 1-point lead. Willis will have a seat. Warren back in the game, so 2 quick ones on Sylvester Willis there.
Well, you lose some athleticism with Willis, but you gain some skill on the offensive end with Josh Warren.
Strandmark 2 of 4 from the free throw line here in the second half. It's 32 all. At one point, it was a 10-point lead for the Salukis.
We should certainly mention the job Casey Reed's doing on Kent Williams, doing a good job fighting through screens.
Brooks for 3, and the lead back to the Salukis.
I just love his game. He's got such an old school game. He's got kind of a toe-raised jump shot. He doesn't really jump high doing anything out on the basketball court, but just works real hard, real efficient on both ends, and knocks down the 3.
Here's Bojang, the senior. Dearman got a piece of it. Fans wanted a foul. They're not going to get it. Hairston picks it up. Here comes Southern Illinois with a lead of 35-32. Kent Williams doesn't force it, but does give it up. But the Salukis lucky to get it back. Here's Brooks. Finds And Stetson Hairston, that's too easy for him. And the lefty just gliding in there. He's got 5 now here in the second half.
Well, a little bit of a broken play that time. Last 2 possessions for Southern Illinois, and their athleticism takes over in that case.
A whistle and a foul on Darren Brooks. And Alexander will go to the line and shoot a couple. Very good free throw shooter, 81% on the year. And Scotty, he started out 32 of 33 from the free throw line. He's just about automatic.
Well, he's a coach's son. What would you expect? You know, he and his dad worked countless hours in the gym on that free throw stroke that he has. Had some big games. We mentioned the 18 points against Southern Illinois in their first game. Illinois State had the 5-point lead at the half at Southern Illinois, had a 9-point lead at Southern Illinois with 15 minutes to go, and Southern just chipped away and fought back to win. But Tom Richardson was real proud of their effort in Carbondale.
1 and 2 for Alexander. 3 for 6 in this second half for Illinois State. Here's Kent Williams, could be the player of the year. The left hand, oh, what a move by Kent Williams. Wow.
How pretty is that? We talk about his jump shooting ability. That's all anybody thinks. They associate Kent Williams with a 3-point shooter, but that's something that he's really added to his game the last couple of years. Since his high school days, ability to put the ball on the floor. Again, they hedge out, just blows by, goes up with the left hand, and strong enough to finish.
Williams now with 9 points.
He's so hard to guard when he's able to put the ball on the floor. We saw that beautiful ball fake, that shot fake that he does, gets guys in the air, puts it on the floor 2 times and gets to the rack.
As you well know, great shooters and good scorers find a way to put up the points, and here it is. He's 7 of 7 from the free throw line.
Well, teams are so well scouted when you get into conference play, especially when you got coaches in the Missouri Valley like we have. They know every play that you're going to run, so if you're going to score, as Green knocks down another 3, you've got to learn how to do other things other than stand and shoot the basketball. A lot of guys can stand and shoot stationary jump shots.
Green has stopped a lot of runs on his own here tonight. 4 3-pointers. Williams for 3. And a whistle and a foul. That's going to go against the Salukis.
Illegal screen by Jermaine Dearman trying to free up Williams. And Bruce Weber says as much contact has been going on in this game, you're going to call that. Not real happy with that call. Can't fault Mr. Dearman for trying to get his teammate open.
40-36, Illinois State with the lead on senior night here at Redbird Arena. Here's Green. Good look to Strandmark. Fouled hard by Kent Williams. And again, he will go to the line and shoot 2.
Kent got his money's worth that time, but beautiful slip move that time by Strandmark. Alexander was coming off a double screen. 2 Salukis run out. Beautiful delivery that time by Green to Strandmark. And great slip move by Strandmark. And Williams went for the ball. Thought he had a clean block, but I think he had plenty of flesh.
Absolutely. Fans all over Ken Williams here tonight. Strandmark can't hit that one. He has been weak from the free throw line. And as a team, they have not shot free throws all that well.
Strandmark's been inconsistent, but he is skilled, and at times he looks awfully well on the offensive end. Tough matchup, 6 for 11, got a soft touch around the basket, but really struggles from the line.
4 of 10 as a team now for Illinois State with that miss.
It's hard to beat a good team like Southern Illinois when you can't capitalize at the line.
And they're getting to the line. That was something that Tom Richardson told us before the game. Get to the line. That's what the message was to his players. The miss, Brooks picks it up to Hairston. And a foul underneath.
I'm telling you, Darren Brooks has as good a hands as you'll see in the Missouri Valley Conference. That's 2 times here tonight. After they've secured a rebound, he just flicks the ball away. Really good at digging away at the big guys. You see Strandmark again, and Brooks just flicks away, digs away at the big fella. Anytime you bring it down, you make yourself susceptible to the quick hands of Darren Brooks.
Stetson Hairston with 7 here tonight, the lefty. Smooth stroke, knocks it down. He's got 8. If Illinois State does not win this game, they can go back to the free throw line here initially to start the second half. They are 3 of 7. And overall in the game, or rather just 2 of 7. Overall in the game, 2 of 8. Hairston, his second free throw. Hits it. 6-point lead for the Salukis. goes in and out. Alexander picks it up. Leaning in, couldn't get it to fall. His own rebound, that won't fall. And it's out of bounds off of Illinois State. And it's back to the Salukis.
Greg Alexander must feel like there's a lid on that basket. Can't get anything to go down. Southern doing a great job jumping out on him. Know how capable he is as a shooter.
16:20 to play in this ball game. Game one of our doubleheader. Here's Williams to the goal. Lays it up and in. Kent Williams now with 11.
I said sometimes he'll initiate the offense, and sometimes he'll initiate the offense so he can get a shot. You see why he's maybe the first Saluki ever to lead his team in scoring for 4 consecutive years.
And he's closing in on the all-time scoring mark at the school and closing in on 2,000 points for his career.
He's about 80 points short still of breaking the record, but he's certainly going to get to that 2,000 mark, and that's just remarkable for this young man.
Partially blocked by Warren, and will go the other way. A look inside to Warren, knocked out of bounds by Arnold. We'll take a timeout. Ken Williams is perfect from the free throw line, 7 of 7, and now he's starting to heat it up from the field. That's too easy for the All-American. 44-36. This ball game, 44-36 with 15:34 to play. Let's check the Missouri Valley scoreboard, brought to you by Ameren UE, Missouri's largest electric utility provider. Wichita State and number 19 Creighton coming up in the second game of our doubleheader. As we have talked about time and again, the Salukis can win the conference outright with a win here tonight, or a Creighton loss to Wichita State later tonight.
They control their own destiny. We talked about it. They have the #1 seed in the tournament locked up. But they really want to win this conference regular season championship outright. And that would be a great feather in Bruce Weber's cap to be able to do that.
Arnold inside, and a chance at a three-point play. Marcus Arnold.
Good ball movement. Again, we've talked about the plays that they've run out of timeouts have been sensational, and Tom Richardson certainly instructing his team, get the ball down low. Let's force the Saluki big guys to play defensively, and with Sylvester Willis out of the ball game, they really like that matchup with Marcus Arnold down on Josh Warren.
Illinois State has to improve from the line. Look at that, 5 of 11 now, or rather 4 of 11. That's not getting the job done. Williams steps through a double team, little nifty move, hangs in the air. Wow, is he good or what? He has now had a tremendous second half, and he's got 13 points.
So efficient. You think he's been having a quiet ball game, and you look up at the end of the game and he'll have 18, 20 points, and really getting it going. You see his ball handling ability. Not many people give him credit for his ability to create off the bounce, but he's showing that.
Arnold off the glass, 4 consecutive points for Marcus Arnold of Illinois State. Illinois State hanging around, down by 6.
And that's all you can ask against this Southern team. They've got to get some stops on this end and contain number 33.
There's Williams, his first 3. Count it! Kent Williams with 16 on the night.
He can score in bunches. Shows his ability off the dribble and then says, oh, let me show you my staple move.
By the way, he is shooting 49% from three-point territory this season, a career 37% three-point shooter, so 49%, that could set the mark, and this is three-pointer number 64 on the year for Kent Williams.
Well, when you shoot 49%, you get that much room, and you've got that pretty a stroke. It's going down. 49% from 3, 2.5 to 1 assist-to-turnover ratio. Just doing it all, making a claim on that Valley Player of the Year. Had the 28 points against SMS, including that game winner at the buzzer at the Hammond Center down in Springfield. See Bojang still with the bagel.
Five of 13 now for Illinois State from the charity stripe. The lead is 8 with 14:21 to play. If they shoot free throws halfway decent, it's maybe a tie ball game or just a 3-point lead, something like that. Under 15 minutes to play, still plenty of time. Here's Kent Williams.
They get a little more size on him with Casey Reed. They had Guidry on him the last 2 possessions. I think they like the matchup with Reed out there, but you better get closer than that.
A miss by Williams. He's 1 of 3 from behind. A three-point arc. Burris looking for help and finds it. And Trey Guidry, transferred from North Carolina State to Vince Green. He has 4 three-pointers on the night. Back to Burris.
Really out of sync offensively here.
Here's Green looking for help. Has it in Arnold. Looking inside. Burris inside. Stripped away by Kent Williams. 5 on the shot clock now.
Well, you could tell the Redbirds really out of sync offensively that possession and trying to find a shot. Get the ball down low and the quick hands again by Kent Williams.
Trey Guidry. Inside the arc, no good. Reed pulls it away. Williams had a hand on it.
How about number 33? He is everywhere on both ends of the court.
Quiet first half, and he has come alive here in the second half to lead all scorers with 16.
Well, he, like a lot of other scorers, when that shot starts dropping, you seem to pick up the intensity on the defensive end and show him why he's a great all-around player.
Here's Arnold. He has had a very nice second half. That's Marcus Arnold, young man from Chicago.
One of the best freshmen in the Valley. He's proven that here tonight.
Here's Schoen. Looks inside to Jermaine Dearman, the Valley Player of the Week. High arcing shot. Got it to fall.
They got to get him more looks. Good things happen when you get the ball to Jermaine Dearman down on the low blocks and goes up with a lot of confidence. They got to get him more touches.
2 Salukis in double figures. Dearman with 10. Kent Williams with 16. Here's Green. Trey Guidry. He can shoot the 3. Watch out for him, and they know it. Schoen is all over him. Reed helps out, guarded by Kent Williams to Arnold. Green was open, looking for help. Has it to Reed for 3. Pulled away by Jermaine Dearman. Dearman now with 4 rebounds for the Salukis, tops in that department. And a timeout taken. Southern Illinois wants a timeout. They've opened up a lead of 51-43 with 12:20 to play in game 1 of our doubleheader. Eight-point lead for the Salukis, the #1 seed this weekend in Arch Madness. Be sure and join us for the 2003 State Farm Missouri Valley Women's Basketball Tournament. That'll be in Des Moines. Hoops in the Heartland from the Knapp Student Center. 2003 State Farm Missouri Valley Women's Basketball Tournament. Don't miss a minute. 12:20 to play in this one. Kent Williams will have a seat, leading all scorers with 16. Vince Green has been the top player for Illinois State here tonight. He has 14. Arnold with 12, so 2 players in double figures for Illinois State as well. Dan McLaughlin, Scott Highmark, game 1 of our doubleheader. Presented by State Farm. Here's Dearman inside. Tough shot. Put back up and in. He is so athletic.
Again, good things happen when you get him the ball. Every time he touches it, he's getting either a bucket, he's getting a teammate involved, and he's playing with a lot of energy going up, getting that second chance opportunity.
5 rebounds, 12 points for Jermaine Dearman. Southern Illinois. Lead is up to 10. That's the highest it has been. And then Illinois State had a 12-2 run to close out the end of the first half and start the second half. Quick timeout, 11:48 to play, second half.
Stupid bloody
Hey, Dad.
bag. No, I'm just
But we
to
really want to show you something.
What is it then? What is it?
These aren't Pepsis. They're Pepsi Twists.
You're a bunch of bloody magicians.
We're not the Osborns.
You're not?
We're the Osmonds. I'm a little bit country. I'm a little bit rock and roll.
I dreamt the kids turned into the Osmonds.
Oh, there, dear.
Like twists, Pepsi Twist and Diet Pepsi Twist. It's a twist on a great thing.
Redbird Arena, welcome back to game 1 of the doubleheader, the Missouri Valley Conference. A 10-point lead for the Salukis, and this guy is really starting to heat up here in the second half. That's Kent Williams.
Well, it's been the Kent Williams show here in the second half, showing his ability off the dribble and then says, oh, let me show you my trademark 25-foot three-point shot. 10 points here in the second half, 16 on the ball game. Stretching the lead for Southern Illinois.
Came in with 82 assists to just 30 turnovers on the season. So he's not just a scorer, he can dish.
And he's playing hard on the defensive end, just a complete player.
Here's Reed inside, off the glass, no good, missed it, lost it on the way up. Here comes Darren Brooks and Southern Illinois. Dearman has 12, gives it up to Blake Schoen, freshman from Oxford, Indiana. Stetson Hairston spinning inside, back out to the three-point specialist, Korn. 15 on the shot clock. Southern Illinois with their biggest lead. Kent Williams on the bench. It's 10 points. Brooks inside the arc, make it a 12-point lead.
Boy, he's been really good here on both ends of the floor. That's 11 points. He's got 6 rebounds, 5 assists. He's their stopper on the defensive end.
Illinois State needs to get something going here. Just under 11 minutes to play. Reed outside.
They're really struggling to find good shots. Can't get their shooters open, Dan. Guidry's being locked up. Southern's put a lot more pressure on Vince Green. Hairston's got that good size, which is really inhibiting Green from getting good looks.
Brooks inside to Dearman against Arnold. That's too easy. A Chancetta three-point play, and the Salukis are starting to open up this lead.
Well, what I like about Bruce Weber and what he's doing with this team, they clearly understand their roles. When Kent Williams is out of the ballgame, he's their #1 option when he's in. Dearman clearly is their second best option. Williams on the bench taking a break. Great entry pass to Darren Brooks, and Jermaine Dearman doing the rest down low.
57-43. Dearman a nice night with 14 points, make it 15.
Southern number 11, Sylvester Willows returns.
This team is 13 of 14 from the free throw line, as opposed to 5 of 13 for Illinois State.
That's what championship clubs do. They take advantage when they get to the line.
Southern Illinois came into this ball game at 21-5 and 15-2 in conference play. Here's Green. Right around Hairston. Tough move by Vince Green.
That's good recognition by Green. Southern's really coming out and trying to pressure him to stop the three-point shot. He's got to do that, break down the defense with his quickness.
Hairston trying to answer. Tough shot, no good. The put back up and in by Darren Brooks.
Mr. Everything for this SIU ball club. He had the big tip against Wisconsin-Milwaukee to win the game in the bracket buster game, and just does a little bit of everything. Great offensive rebounder at 6'3". He's got really long arms. Not overly athletic, but he's got the wingspan of somebody that's 6'8".
Brooks whistled for that foul. Kent Williams back in the game. Jermaine Dearman with 15, Kent with 16. Vince Green also with 16, so those two the top scorers here tonight. Alexander has been quiet now with 7.
You notice that very rarely are Dearman and Williams out of the ball game at the same time. I really like the substitution pattern by Bruce Weber. When you give Williams a break, go to Dearman. Give Dearman a break, expect him to go back to Kent Williams.
Lead is cut to 13.
A little pressure by Illinois State. And it nicely.
Here's Korn, he can shoot it. Willis looking for help, has it in Kent Williams. He is matched up with Greg Alexander. Korn swing the ball. He saw the double team trying to find the open man. Comes to Turner with 2 on the shot clock. No good. Strand marked the rebound.
That was a good defensive set that time by Illinois State, but they got to convert on this end to get back in the ball game.
Dana Ford comes up short. A shot from 10 feet. Under 9 minutes to play, 13-point lead. Salukis very content right now just to work the clock and work the offense.
Yeah, no need to rush. You've got the lead. You've proven that if you work 20 seconds off the shot clock, run your stuff, you're going to get good looks.
Here's Darren Brooks. Looking for help, has it in Willis inside the arc, an open shot. Brooks the rebound over Alexander. What a night here for Darren Brooks. He's got 15.
And 9 rebounds, 3 of them on the offensive end. One of the best rebounding guards in the league.
chance at a double-double. You also throw in 5 assists, maybe a triple-double.
You can see why he and Stetson Hairston were named to the most improved team in the Valley. Imagine if they continue to improve at this pace. They still got 2 more years.
Williams. Picked up by Bojang of Illinois State, under 8 minutes to play. Wichita State and Creighton coming up in game number 2.
Should be a lot of energy in Omaha tonight. Kyle Korver senior night, playing Wichita State, which knocked off the Blue Jays in Wichita.
Green trying to draw the foul. He does. He'll go to the line and shoot 2. Brian Turner will whistle for the foul. The youngster from Beaumont High School out of St. Louis. 62-47, Southern Illinois with a lead.
To the line, 2 shots.
You know, this Illinois State team's really played a tough non-conference schedule. They played Kent State, Utah State, Western Kentucky, Illinois, Chicago. When they scheduled last year, they didn't know those teams were going to be as good as they were. They did win at Marshall in the bracket buster game, but they also thought they might have Therese Bryson. They thought he might get that extra year in that hardship provision, get a 6 year of eligibility. They didn't get that. Dirk Williams started for him last year, sitting out this year, may come back next year.
Vince Green hits them both. He has 18 to lead all scores, but Illinois State trailing at home 62-49. 62-49, Southern Illinois a chance to wrap up the conference outright. Looking for this season's hottest styles? Then look no further than Aeropostale. Aeropostale provides the hottest athletically inspired clothes for guys and girls. Aeropostale is a proud sponsor of the Missouri Valley Conference. Well, for Illinois State, Scott Highmark down 62-49, 7.5 remaining. They need to make a little run here.
Well, it's not out of reach. They're going to put some full court pressure. They got to get some stops on the defensive end. For the most part, other than Kent Williams getting off a little bit here in the second half, they've done a decent job on the defensive end. Got to figure out how to put some points on the board.
Here is Darren Brooks, hands it off to Kent Williams. Dan McLaughlin, Scott Highmark with you in game 1 of our Missouri Valley Conference doubleheader presented by State Farm. That's too easy. Warren lays it up and in. The young man from Washington, Missouri, and a good look from the perimeter.
Well, you know, that was created because Kent Williams came off that screen and roll, and they double teamed him all the way to the other end of the floor, and he recognized and found Warren for the weak side basket.
Here's Alexander leaning in off the glass, no good. Strandmark had a hand on it, kept alive by Bojang. Got it blocked by Mr. Brooks. He has been everywhere.
Yeah, he really has been great tonight. Got those long arms. Again, he didn't even have to jump. Got those quick hands.
A whistle and a foul underneath on Bojang. Bojang with just 1 point here tonight.
Got to get him more involved. He's too talented. He's been their go-to guy for the last 2 seasons, and this season he's just kind of serving as a role player. He's not coming with that same intensity night in and night out that he had the previous 2 seasons.
Here's Warren and a travel. So back to the Redbirds of Illinois State.
Out of bounds, Redbirds.
How about for Southern Illinois, 27 wins in a row at home for a team that has better numbers than the team that went to the Sweet 16 a year ago.
Well, the other 3 teams, that's 4th in the nation, by the way, their home winning streak. The other teams, Oklahoma, Western Kentucky, Duke, and Southern Illinois. It's pretty good company to keep.
Not bad at all. Crowd has been quiet here on senior night. Green trying to step through the double team. He does, takes it himself, and gets it to fall. Vince Green has had a big night for Illinois State. He now has 20. The other way, a chance at a 3-point play as Darren Brooks answers, and he's fouled by Strandmark.
And guess what? You better not celebrate when you score against this Saluki ball club, because they're leaking out the other way. And you got to credit Vince Green. The little guy's doing everything that he can to keep the Redbirds in the ball game. Going up, undersized, giving up about a foot against Jermaine Dearman, and Warren gets the ball out quick. Nice kick ahead to Mr. Brooks, and capping off a great evening.
Brooks is 8 of 14 from the field. He has a 3-pointer. These are his first attempts from the free throw line. 17 points, 9 rebounds, and 5 assists. 18 now for Darren Brooks.
good backcourt, even when you lose that guy. Kent Williams graduating after this season. Stetson Hairston and Darren Brooks were AAU teammates back in St. Louis in high school and best of friends, but that's pretty good backcourt to build a foundation on.
Under 6 minutes to play, 67-51. Green, who has 20 now with the basketball. Shot clock approaching 10. Green working against Hairston. Kicks it out to Strandmark. Forces it a bit. Good defense there by Warren. Will go the other way.
Strandmark and Hairston getting into it a little bit. Looks like Strandmark's going to pick up the technical. I think he was a little frustrated that time that there was no foul called on that play. He passed up an open look in the corner, then leaned in and took a difficult shot and gets the foul there. And see, he and Hairston, a little bit of action on both ends, and then Strandmark has something to say and gets teed up. If he hadn't said anything, the referee would have let that go, but he had something to say. We saw that the other night in the beginning of the game against Creighton. And these referees trying to make sure they're in control of this ball game and not going to take any type of lip from anybody.
Looks like both sides got a technical. Strandmark for Illinois State, and also could have been Hairston underneath, I believe.
It was Hairston. I didn't see Hairston say anything. He was involved in a little bit of pushing, but it's null and void now. They'll just keep playing.
So the offset, the technicals, and it's possession to the Salukis of Southern Illinois. Hairston to Brad Korn. Trying to feed it inside to Dearman. It's knocked away. Gets it back. 5 minutes to play in this one. Brooks for three. In and out, no good. And it's pulled away by Illinois State. Vince Green wants to push it. Green trying to dance around Brooks. Spins, and he traveled. And he traveled.
Crowd doesn't like it, but I think he took one too many that time. Tom Richardson says, can I get a break? Trying to make a comeback against the best team in the conference, and my star player makes a great move, and I can't get a break at home on senior night.
Trey Guidry back in the game for Tom Richardson in Illinois State. They trail 67-51. Dearman, yes. Jermaine Dearman was 17.
Their execution has just been fantastic on the offensive end. Every time I'm thinking, you know what, I think Jermaine Dearman needs to get a touch, they go right to him. Just very deliberate, well-schooled on where they need to go in the game situation.
Inside to Arnold, lost the handle, knocked out of bounds. And it's going to stay with Illinois State. There's also a very quick look by Kent Williams, too, offensively. He's just got a great sense for where the ball needs to go.
And he hasn't forced one shot here tonight. Everything's coming to him in the flow of the offense. And that's something Bruce Weber really has worked on with Kent. When he took over as the head coach here at Southern Illinois, he said, Kent, take 3, 4, 5 bad shots a game. And said, I've really encouraged him. And I told him, you can score 15 to 20 points on 12 shots. And he's certainly been able to do that.
There's Trey Guidry to Arnold. At 6 to start the second half. Knocked out of his hands. Quick hands there. Williams came up with it. Now to Wayne Turner. He'll pull it back.
Good decision by Brian Turner. No need to force it.
Turner for three. Off the mark. Hill pulls it away. Kenneth Hill out of Naperville, Illinois. Gets it back from Green. Now to Guidry with under 4 minutes to play on senior night. Guidry's had a tough evening. Knocked out of bounds. It'll stay with Illinois State, but they need to get something going. 3:40 on senior night, trailing 69-51.
Thanks. Come back again.
Here we go. Time now for the National Car Rental game reset. There's our scores, 69-51. Possession arrow in favor of Southern Illinois, and pretty much everything in favor of the Salukis. Since 1994, every team that's won at least a share of the MVC regular season title has advanced to the NCAA tournament, either by automatic or at-large bid, and I think that's going to be the case here with the Salukis, no matter what happens at Arch Madness this weekend.
Well, with this win, they will have won 13 of their last 14. The regular season champions, the #1 seed in the Valley Tournament, an RPI in the 30s. I think they've done everything that they need to do, everything that the NCAA asks you to do to get an at-large bid.
Quick hands there by Kent Williams. Salukis a year ago made it to the Sweet 16, finished at number 22 in the coaches poll, and this past week they received 4 votes in the AP and 3 in the coaches, so starting to garner that national recognition that they need.
Well, you know, Bracket Buster Saturday was big for the Valley. All 4 Valley teams won in Bracket Buster Saturday, which raised the RPI of the league 4 notches, which will help Southern Illinois and Creighton if they need to get an at-large bid.
And that's huge. Stolen away. Here's Darren Brooks. Flushes it home.
Man,
Brooks has had some kind of night. 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and now 18 points.
Well, it's neat to see a young man rewarded on the defensive end the other night against Corver. He was unbelievable. As good as I've seen anybody guard Kyle Corver. It's neat to see him have a breakout game offensively.
Guidry from way downtown. He can shoot it.
That's just a sign of what the Valley's going to see for the next 2 years out of that young man.
Quick whistle as there's a foul underneath.
Foul is on 34. Kenneth Hill.
Kenneth Hill whistled for that foul for Illinois State.
Well, we talked about the quick hands of Darren Brooks, but he's also great getting out in the passing lanes and anticipating. You see him step in the lane, goes right in, and little toe raise dunk, not too much effort.
Ken Williams is perfect from the line. 8 of 8 here tonight. There you see the steals in favor of the Salukis, 12-2. Ken Williams a year ago, and in my mind, if Corver wins the Player of the Year, Ken Williams has got to get a share of that award. That's what I personally feel. I think Ken Williams has been magnificent this season. He finished 2nd a year ago in the Player of the Year voting in 2002. 127 starts. He has started every game in his Saluki career.
Absolutely unbelievable career, storybook career. From Mount Vernon, Illinois. Had a following that came to every home game there in Carbondale. Said he had 2,500 fans come to that bracket buster game against Wisconsin-Milwaukee. He's going to get a well-deserved rest with 250 here in the game.
Only 4 of 10 from the field, but 18 points on the night, 9 of 9 from the free throw line.
18 shots, 18 points on 10 shots.
Pretty efficient. 2.5 to go here in game 1 of this doubleheader. Senior night from Redbird Arena. Here's Green. He's had a nice night with 20 points. He's fouled underneath. He'll go to the line and shoot a couple.
I'm so impressed with Southern Illinois and their execution, particularly here in the second half. And Bruce Weber knew this was a really dangerous game, playing against an Illinois State team who's been playing well, who beat Indiana State by 30 on the road in their last ball game. And coming off that Creighton win and all of the emotions building up to that, they had to jump on a bus at 11:30 on Sunday to bus here after the Creighton game. He knew they were fatigued. He didn't work them out too hard, just had a light walkthrough yesterday and today, but the way they've executed here in the second half has just been remarkable.
Kevin Trock is going to check into the game for Vince Green. Only a sophomore is Vince Green, so better days ahead here for Illinois State with that young man. He has 22 on the night.
You add Neil Plank and Najee Beckles along with Vince Green, Greg Alexander, some of the young players like Marcus Arnold. The future's bright here for the Redbirds.
73-56. Salukis are going to win the championship outright. Whistle underneath. That's going to go against Chris Burris. He was matched up with Brad Korn, and Korn will go to the line. Burris, only a freshman as well, highly touted out of Chicago.
Illinois State really recruits Chicago hard. Been very successful getting young men out of the Chicago area. Have a new assistant coach, Lance Irvin, on their staff, who has deep Chicago roots. His dad was an AAU coach. His brother There, Lance on the left there. His brother, McLaughlin Irvin, actually played with me at St. Louis U. And his other brother, Byron, was one of the best players the University of Missouri has ever seen.
1:54 to play. Creighton and Wichita State coming up in game number 2. Three from the corner and count it. Brett Gillen on senior night. Senior hits it from the corner. The fans applaud that. 75-59. And a timeout taken by Bruce Weber. He's going to keep everybody on the floor, though, I believe, and that's a chance to get some of the other kids in. So they're just going to roll it over. Quick timeout. So we can get a substitution here and get some players in and some playing time. David Carney, a senior for Southern Illinois, is checked into the ball game.
Well, he had the opportunity to get in the late minutes against Creighton in that raucous environment in Carbondale on senior night, so I know that was a neat moment for him.
Turner deep three, count it. Wow, what a tough shot there by Brian Turner.
He is turning into a player.
There you go back to a year ago, and what got things going for the Salukis 2 seasons ago was a win against Indiana on their home floor. And Bruce Weber told us both this morning at the shoot-around, the game against Creighton was louder, it was bigger for their program, and it was better.
Well, I wasn't at the Indiana game, but I can vouch for Saturday night. It was amazing. The atmosphere was electric. 2 hours before the game, they let 2,500 students into the arena, and they were just on fire for 4 hours. Never let up, and Salukis didn't disappoint on the floor.
Under a minute to play.
I don't think Indiana's going to go back to Carbondale anytime soon. It gets harder and harder to schedule the more successful that you are. Those teams don't want to play you home and home.
Miller for three. Missed everything. We'll go the other way. .20 to go. Gillen for three. Got it again. The senior, his second three on senior night. Way to go, Brett.
That's something he'll always remember. Good-looking stroke. Saying, Coach, you should have put me in earlier. Been sitting over here for 4 years.
We're down to 2 seconds, and you can say it. Southern Illinois, the 2003 regular season Missouri Valley Conference champions. They win it outright. Congratulations to Bruce Weber and his staff. The Salukis are the 2003 champs of the Missouri Valley Conference.
Just a workmanlike effort tonight for the Salukis. Illinois State played with a lot of energy, sparked by Vince Green in that first half, but Illinois really executed well in the second half. Their star player, Kent Williams, really stepped up big early. Darren Brooks was the star of the game with 20 points and 9 rebounds.
16 conference wins. Only 5 teams have done that in the Missouri Valley Conference, and now the 2003 Salukis can put their name with those 5. 78-62 our final. Southern Illinois is now 22-5 and 16-2 in the MVC. Time now for the Rawlings play of the game. And Southern Illinois was able to set the tone early. Sylvester Willis, the 6'7" junior, along with Darren Brooks, who is our player of the game as well, got things going, and there is Willis with the follow after the Brooks steal.
Southern Illinois with 12 steals on the evening, and Darren Brooks was in the middle of most of those plays. Certainly the player of the game, and the play of the game with the big flush by Sylvester Willis.
Our Rawlings play of the game. Congratulations to Bruce Weber. He is all smiles. Big following from Southern Illinois, as you might expect. What a job he has done in his 5th season, and here he is, the regular season champs. Bruce Weber and the Salukis of Southern Illinois.
They certainly executed well tonight. Couldn't happen to a better man than Bruce Weber, his staff, Matt Painter, Chris Lowry, Rodney Watson, Shane Hawkins all do a fantastic job, and those young men certainly have responded to the challenge of repeating after a Sweet 16 appearance last year.
Senior night here at Redbird Arena. Don't forget we have Arch Madness coming your way on Fox Sports Net this weekend. And the #1 seed will be the Salukis of Southern Illinois. The men's tournament gets underway on Friday night. That's the play-in games. Illinois State will be a part of that. They'll have to take on Drake. Starts on Friday night at the Savas Center in St. Louis.
The winner of that Illinois State Drake game is probably going to have Carbondale again. So these two same teams could meet on Saturday in the quarterfinals.
Well, this was fun.
It was fun. Great effort by Southern Illinois and Illinois State. They're going to live to play another day.
Well, they'll be playing on Friday night at the Savas Center in St. Louis. For our Metro Sports crew and Scott Highmark, I'm Dan McLaughlin. Thanks for being with us in Game 1 of our MVC doubleheader presented by State Farm. Game 2 is coming up here on Fox Sports Net. Creighton will play against Wichita State. The Salukis started from the onset and trailed through, rather led throughout, as Illinois State struggled throughout. Wichita State will take on #19 Creighton. That's coming up next. Kent Williams, another big night for possibly the MVC Player of the Year. He had 18. Thanks for joining us. Again, the final 78-62. Wichita State and Creighton is coming up.